Hello and welcome to News 9. I am Mr. Tain. First up, Congress Coordination Committee meeting was held today to discuss various issues like cabinet reshuffle, appointment to boards and corporations, and nomination of MLCs. The meeting was presided by Digvijay Singh. He made 12 suggestions to the Chief Minister for better governance. This is the big story, in fact, that we're tracking this hour, where the Congress Coordination Committee meeting was held today to discuss various issues like cabinet reshuffle, appointment to boards and corporations, and nomination of MLCs. The meeting was presided by Digvijay Singh. He made 12 suggestions to the Chief Minister for better governance. The 12 points include funds should be sufficiently released for the schemes announced in the budget. Decisions on nomination of Rajya Sabha MP should be left to Congress President Sonia Gandhi. District and block level Congress opinions should be taken on appointment to boards and corporations. Local MLAs' opinions should be considered on transfer of officials. There should also be that Digvijay Singh has put forth these 12 suggestions so that it can help the Chief Minister make and implement better governance. He also said that transparency should be maintained in the government transactions. Honest officials should be appointed for the top posts, and the Chief Minister should act against 15 non-performing ministers. My colleague Varghese joins us with more details on this. Well, Varghese, take us through the 12 points in detail.
Well, Nishita, at present what we know is that there is a lot of concern with regards to the way the governance is going on, and some of the important points that the Karnataka in charge has raised is that there should be transparency, should be maintained in the transferring of government officials, and that honest officials should be appointed for top posts. The same also has been asked to act against around 15 non-performing ministers. The same has been also asked to take against ministers who failed to work for the party during the Lok Sabha polls. And he's also a very crucial thing that they've done is that to ensure that the Congress support base in the sugar belt is in fact maintained, they've asked for sugar factories owned by Congress leaders that they should compulsorily pay the support price to sugarcane growers so that they do not face losses. And the other thing about it is that funds should be sufficiently released to the schemes announced in the budget so that the social welfare agenda of the government can be taken forward, and also the idea and the manifesto of the Congress party can also be implemented. So they've asked for funds to be sufficiently released, especially for those schemes that help in the social sector. Then the district and block level Congress opinion from those leaders should be taken in appointments that have been given to the boards and the corporation. So there have been a kind of interaction that has been demanded from senior leaders with the block level as well as district level Congress leaders so that the appointments can be in fact smooth, and there could be consensus in the appointment, and therefore factionalism can be reduced. Local MLAs and their opinions should be also considered in transferring of the officials. And one more crucial thing that they've asked is that all the district in charge ministers should travel to the district and interact with the people to understand how effective have the policies of the government have been, and that whether the people require something more, and there should be constant interactions and feedback so that this issue can be raised in the legislature. The other things that have been said is that CM should in fact take decisions on key issues in consultation with senior leaders. This is also a real reference to the fact that there should be collective decision-making body within the Congress setup in the state. There is also recommendation that has been given where the CM and the minister should carry out drought relief work and supply of fodder on a war footing, especially those districts in the north that are reeling under severe crop loss. So, it has been asked. The Digvijay Singh has in fact asked the Congress leadership in the state to in fact tighten their socks and get into the relief work immediately, because the monsoons are expected to be also play a trance. So it is imperative that they act immediately on that matter. And also another crucial instruction that has been given is that the CM should instruct his ministers not to carry out renovations of their offices in Vidhan Sauda, clearly talking about Minister Anjaneya, who had in fact broken down the wall, and in fact expanded and spent a lot of money on renovating that particular office that had also carried out controversies. Also, it has been said that the government should be cautious on implementing the anti-superstitious bill, which was touted by the government as an effort to in fact increase scientific temper in society. But since it is also coming in contrast with a lot of religious issues, there has been several issues, several controversies with regards to that also.
Right, thank you for joining us with all those details there, Varghese. Well, let's not forget that this comes in the backdrop of many of the exit polls predicting that it might be a repeat of the 2009 results, with the Congress faltering big time. But now that Congress is power in the state government, we could see the party actually going into some damage control mode, helping the Chief Minister do some damage control on his governance. Well, moving on to the big news just coming in. Good news for Bengalurians. BWSSB puts off water tariff hike until next month. BWSSB mulls increasing water tariff by 50% next month. That is a huge and a steep hike for the people of Karnataka. Let's not forget that this comes in the backdrop of numerous price hikes, which includes BBMP, which includes BMTC, KSRTC, and now even BWSSB. My colleague Akshita joins us with more details on this. Well, Akshita, what more can you tell us about the latest development?
Well, Nishita, relief no doubt for Bengalurians, but only temporary at that. For 1 month, maybe we won't be looking at any price hike of water, but in a month's time, we could be looking at it going all the way up to 50%. Now, that's a huge amount, Nishita. In fact, today, we know that the BWSSB had a meet. They were planning to increase water tariff from between 28 to 34%. Now, consider that, and consider that in the next month, we could be looking at a hike of about 50%. So it definitely doesn't look like relief per se for Bengalurians, looking at the kind of increase that BWSSB is considering, and also keeping in mind the fact that the government will not really intervene, considering that in November Siddaramaiah had stated that the BWSSB will take the decision. The water board can pretty much decide on a number, on a figure, and put it across and not bother about what Bengalurians have to say. What they were planning, Nishita, earlier today was that the minimum slab of 0 to 8,000 liters would be revised instead to 0 to 6,000 liters of water. Besides that, the minimum rate of a kiloliter of water would have been hiked from 6 rupees to 10 rupees. That was what they were planning initially. But keeping in mind that it's a 50% now, we could be looking at almost twice that. Maybe from 6 rupees, it could go up to about 12 to 13 rupees. And also, of course, besides that, the minimum slab could be reduced to about 0 to 4,000 liters. This is all speculation, of course, but keeping in mind the fact that they were planning about 28% to 34%, and now it's gone up all the way to 50%. It definitely doesn't look like it's good news at all for Bengalurians, and in fact, this could bring about more woes than anything else, considering that it is the summer and there are already water issues at hand, and with water prices going up, Nishita, the hope is at least the Bengalurians will get proper supply if they do ensure that they pay the required amount, Nishita.
Right, Akshita, thank you for joining us with all those details there. Well, there could be a cause of concern in store for Bengalurians, as the BWSSB might be putting off water hike to next month. However, the water hike could be as much as 50%. Moving on now, incensed by its crying, a caretaker hurt a 11-month-old boy who she was given charge of by hurling him around in a shocking incident. A caretaker has been arrested for throwing the baby boy on the beanbag and later on the bed. The woman has been identified as baby Lakshman Patole, who said that she did this repeatedly as she was allegedly incensed by the baby's incessant crying. The incident took place on the 6th of May and 7th, and the Tawadi police have detained her on the 8th of May after receiving complaints from the parents. The couple living in Narhe area appointed her to look after their child, as both of them have day jobs. The parents lodged a complaint against the caretaker after noticing injury marks on the child's body. The police have registered cases under IPC section 323, which is for voluntarily causing grievous hurt, and 504. And well, the big question that we're asking our viewers in connection to the incident, this could be happening in your house too. So do you feel safe leaving your child in a maid's custody? Do SMS News9 space your reaction to the shocking footage on 54999669. Join the big discussion on News9 too at 6 p.m. A shocking incident indeed that has come to light, where the maid who was given charge of an 11-month-old baby, who was irritated with the baby's incessant crying, dropped the 11-month-old child repeatedly on the beanbag and the bed.